Attorney General Jeff Sessions yesterday telling Ohio Republican Congressman Jim Jordan his thoughts on what would be needed to trigger the appointment of a new special counsel to investigate Hillary Clinton and DNC and FBI connections to Russia. Here now is Congressman Jim Jordan. He was leading that conversation. Boy, terrific questions you asked of the Attorney General yesterday. Congrats. Now, he says look like is not enough for a special counsel. But isn't that exactly what was used to appoint Robert Mueller? I mean, there was no crime. It's just things looked like there was a Russia connection.
Yeah, and to date, after months of this investigation, we've found no collusion between the president and Russia. So, but what we do know is a major political party, through a law firm, financed this dossier, this National Enquirer document put together. They financed this dossier, and it certainly appears that at the same time the author of that dossier, Christopher Steele, was being paid by the FBI. And then it also looks like that dossier was turned into an intelligence document taken to the FISA court to get warrants to spy on Americans associated with the Trump campaign. That should not happen in this country. That is not supposed to be how it works. And that's what we want investigated, in addition to the Uranium One issue and a host of things that happened in 2016 relative to James Comey.
You know, you hear this expression a lot in journalism and in law. You got to connect the dots. You've just connected an extraordinary sequence of dots there. Do you have any evidence that, in fact, the FBI was paying either Fusion GPS, the group that was paid by the DNC, or somebody else that in fact, the FBI was involved in paying for the Trump dossier?
Yeah, great question, David. It's been reported that Christopher Steele was reimbursed. It's been reported that several times he met with the FBI, giving them reports that that were compiled and put into the dossier. So I asked the question. That's the first question I asked Mr. Sessions yesterday. Did the FBI pay Christopher Steele? And he wouldn't answer the question. I don't know why you can't answer that fundamental question. We have staff who works for us. I know who gets paid, who works for the 4th District of Ohio. I know who our staff are and what they get paid. Why doesn't the head of the Justice Department, which the FBI is a part of, able to answer,
well,
did you pay Christopher Steele?
Could he tell you behind closed doors? Could he tell you in some kind of secret session?
Maybe, but they'd also, typically they will say, oh, it's part, I don't confirm whether there's an investigation. This could be a part of an investigation. This could be a part of Mueller's investigation. All I want to know is, did you pay him? Because that's an important piece of information. That would show that there was maybe this link going on between our government and a major party to do harm to the other party's nominee.
Well, so far you have Mr. Mueller going after one individual for his connections with Turkey, going after another individual for his connections with Ukraine. Here is a case where there is a direct Russian connection between a U.S. firm, Fusion GPS, that was paid for by the Democratic National Committee, which, by the way, we now know is controlled essentially by Hillary Clinton directly, according to Donna Brazil. So there is a direct Russian connection. Why isn't Robert Mueller looking into that? Or is he?
We don't know, but he should. It certainly seems to me. But that's why we've called for a second special counsel to look into this and all these other issues. And you're right, David. Money went from the DNC, the Clinton campaign, through the law firms Perkins Coie to Fusion GPS, and some of that money was paid to Russians. Just given to Russians to give information. Right. That's how that works. So if that's not some kind of coordination, I don't know what is.
And finally, Uranium One. The president says it's the biggest issue involving Russia and individuals in the United States. Does that require another separate counsel, or could that be kind of melded in with a new special counsel?
I don't know how you meld it in. It would seem to me Mr. Mueller would be inherently compromised because he was the FBI director at the time when it was discovered there was an informant telling the FBI about kickbacks, extortion, bribery associated with businesses in Russia trying to do business in the uranium industry here in the United States. And he did not, based on news reports, he did not tell Congress. He didn't tell the country. Right. Most importantly, he didn't tell the committee who was charged with making a decision on whether the Uranium One deal could go forward or not.
But he is now free to tell you about that. Is he?
I think he could, but I don't know that he can investigate it because he was the guy at the head of FBI when this was all going down.
No. I'm talking about the informant. Is the informant now giving you specific evidence about the corruption inside of that Russian agency?
We have not met with him yet, but that is scheduled to happen. We need to talk to that informant and hear what he has to say.
Congressman Jim Jordan, terrific work, Congressman. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you, David. Take care.